What's up, everybody? Welcome to Solana Weekly. This is your host, Thomas, and I want to thank you for joining in. Let's take a dive into the latest trends, use cases, and people behind the incredible growth of the Solana ecosystem. None of this is financial advice, but I'm hoping that all of this is alpha. Now let's get to the show. I am super excited for this week. We've got Anas here from FlashTrade to teach us all about what they've built out. They've got a fantastic Perps decks, and I'm excited to hear about their whole platform. Welcome to the show, Anas. How you doing?
Hi Thomas, I am doing great and thanks for having me here. And I'm one of the founders of FlashTrade. We are a decentralized exchange where you can leverage trade your favorite assets with up to 100x leverage. And it's all decentralized and open for anyone to trade.
Yeah, that's awesome, and it's a great platform. We were talking a little bit before we got started, and I love your platform. So I use it,
Thank
and
you.
I was thinking that I don't actually hear enough about it on the timeline. So I think that it's a fantastic product, and I want to expose it to more people because I think it's great. I think that what you guys have built out already is great. It seems like you're listing a lot of the newer tokens a lot faster than than what I've previously seen. So it seems like you're bringing giving the people what they want, and what they want is
Yeah,
meme coins, right?
yeah. Especially in that direction. We're trying to list tokens as fast as possible and also working on increasing underlying stack so that we can list a lot more assets because every day we are seeing about anywhere between 20,000 to 40,000 tokens being graduated from pump on token on Radium. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think
I
that's
can't.
much less, but yeah.
Yeah, I can't even imagine like having to deal with like the demand. Like, please list this token. It's like that is one of 40,000 from today. We can't list them all, but
Yeah.
I would imagine there's like a certain threshold that you've got to look at. But that's what people want right now, right?
Yep. They want to
Yeah.
trade, and we have to build the technology that is required to let them trade anything.
Yeah, yeah, and it seems like what you built out is just like extremely user friendly, very simple user interface to use. I think almost anybody could take a look at it that's made a swap on anything before and figure out how to do it.
Yep.
Right? Like it's pretty straightforward, right? You go on, I mean, see exactly what asset you're looking to actually trade with, and you can make the trade. It's kind of pulling from different pools, so you can't necessarily use any token to leverage trade with any token, but depending on the pool you're going for, there's a couple different ones that you can use, right?
So the interesting thing is like if you have the Sol in your wallet, you can open a trade in less than 3 clicks. So that is how we try to optimize it. The less number of clicks to open your trade. So yeah,
Yeah, 3 clicks. That's. I mean, that's pretty good. You can't really beat that, right? You're not going to beat that. Otherwise, people are just going to be pressing buttons and not know what they're doing, right?
yeah. Otherwise, you just need an AI assistant to take a trade on behalf of you if you're just speaking to it.
Yeah, yeah. Which I mean, with all these AI tokens, I mean, maybe that's coming down the pipeline too. I don't even know.
I think we have it live, but it's like people love more to see a UI built out and see their interaction happening off all the while, not just saying to a blank terminal and not knowing what actually is happening. You have to keep asking that assistant what is going on with your position to manage. But
Yeah,
when you view something, you can react faster
yeah.
than prompting.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, and especially on a day like today, I think we're seeing a pretty good pullback across the whole market. So I would imagine that that keeps you guys extra busy when there's like a ton of extra volatility, right?
Essentially, not exactly during volatile time. It's more about when the chain is having more users. Just when we saw when the president of the United States launched the token Trump and her
Yeah,
wife Melania launched the token, and that's when the
yeah,
whole chain was actually suffering because we saw a whole lot of new users coming and interacting with the Solana blockchain. And thankfully, we were actually up and everything was running smooth. And yeah, it was all hands on deck during those days. It was
yeah,
just last weekend. Yeah.
yeah. Only a week ago, but it feels like a long
Only
time,
weekend.
right? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. And so with that, so okay, so I kind of like I've heard a couple different breakdowns on it. Trump obviously launched his coin 2 days before the inauguration, and the chain handled it fine, right? Like record levels of people
Yes.
were coming on, everything was fine until his wife launched the coin, and that was when all hell broke loose, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
seemed like I think his coin on day one or day two was like 40 billion, then $70 billion, and then
Yes.
her coin came on, and it was like the chain was already like pretty maxed out, and then that once that coin became live, everything went haywire, right? Like
Yep.
there was like the level of demand on the chain has never been seen before anywhere, right? On
Yep.
any chain.
No. And the most interesting thing is it's just like an internet application. So basically, when you use a website, and a whole lot of users are coming on website when it generally wasn't, used to having that much traffic, you sort
Yeah,
of see that some sort of glitch for the beginning hours, but again, it just smoothens out. And that's how it happened on Solana as well, where we saw little bit of, hiccups there, here and there, and eventually everything smoothened out, and now it's working beautiful.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
we just need that some time to make things adjust, like things to adjust, and that's when we are how that's how we are scaling things on the blockchain side.
Yeah, yeah, and I read that a lot of what the actual issues were, and it wasn't necessarily the chain, but it was a lot of like the app side, like basically the like compute units, or what they allowed users to use for
Yes,
different
yes,
apps, right? So that
yep, yep,
wasn't set up properly to because they weren't anticipating that much traffic, right? So you set it so
yes,
that people when they use, so each app can set kind of parameters based on like, all right, they're not going to pay $5 per
mm,
transaction, so let's set the cap
exactly.
at 20 cents or whatever it is. They set a cap on it, and it was above those caps, right?
Yep, 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 yep. And it's like we don't want our users to overspend as well, and even our systems to spend that much. So there was limit. Everyone has their own limitations to spend. You can spend whole lot of money, but we saw everyone had reached that caps, and then we had to adjust those caps to make sure things start landing again on the chain. But yeah, I think the chain actually handled it beautifully well. But there is you always need to scale things. So
Yeah,
you keep building stuff. There is
yeah,
no
yeah,
limit to it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I feel like
So
that's kind of that's
we still haven't seen we still haven't seen a billion users on chain. So we need to be ready for that.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, it's kind of the Solana way too, right? Like you build everything, and then something comes along and breaks it, right? Whether it was an NFT mint in the early days
Yep.
or something, it's like it's kind of what tests the network, what tests the system.
Yep.
And right now it's the president of the United States and his wife launching a coin. So
Yeah. It's
that.
it's beautiful, to be honest. It's beautiful
Yeah,
to watch the stuff. Yeah.
yeah, sounds good. So when that comes along, how soon were you guys actually able to launch Perps for the Trump coin? Because it seemed like it was pretty quick.
To be honest, we really wanted to launch it the same day.
Uh-huh.
The token came up in about, I think, in about 6 hours or so. But there was some things, as I said, the blockchain was like so used up, and the transaction costs were so high that we wanted to let the current app to run smoothly for the current users,
Yeah.
and then work on bringing on this new perp so that this new layer of users would come. So
Yeah.
that kind of put us behind, and we just took a day to get it up back with the Trump perp. And we have done phenomenal volumes. And the interesting thing is, Flash is a pool to pure exchange where basically people would lend their collateral, and there are people who can trade using that collateral. So the
Yeah.
people who lend collateral make money from the people who trade. So it's a pool to peer model. And we have seen the people who lended money through the Trump pool actually made more than 600% APY
No
in
way.
their yield while the Trump token fell. So what happened is, even though the Trump token fell about 35% in the next 3 days,
Yeah.
the people who deposited into the pool were actually didn't saw that losses on their balances, because it kind of offsetted that, and they were actually up 25% on their positions.
Crazy.
So, and that was there, and the people who actually traded well, and the people who lended, they made. So it's an interesting model where people can deposit money, or people can trade money. So it's the way for us to show anyone can be a market maker, and anyone can be a trader on a platform. It's not just that one way thing; it's a two-way thing for us.
Yeah, yeah. So to kind of speak more to that, like in a traditional exchange model, right? As a user, I can come in, use your platform, but in your model, I can come in, I can use your platform as a user, make some trades, but I could also go in and actually like be the bank a little bit and go
Yes.
in and provide liquidity into your pools, right?
Yes, and the pools are basically the market making walls, which
Yeah,
basically take the other side of the trades for the traders. So
yeah.
the most interesting thing, as I said, is like you can be a market maker or you can be a trader.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which both have been, or I guess the pools sound pretty profitable, especially with the Trump token. Like I was watching the charts for a while, and I mean the market cap jumps up and down $10 billion in 15 seconds. So like the volatility is insane. I don't think we've ever seen anything like that.
Yeah. That's how the market makers make money. They make money when the thing moves much more through
Yeah,
the fees, and that's how these pools capitalize as well. So as the asset moves heavy in any direction, the people who deposit actually make more money as well.
yeah. Yeah, and this is something that I think is really important too, is the way that you have it set up. So you said it was peer to pools.
Yes.
That's what you call it, right? So
Yep.
because of the way that it's set up, you actually as a user get really good pricing and really good execution on your trades. Like this is something
Yes.
that I found from your platform from day one, right? Like I'm not like a heavy duty trader or anything like that, but when I go on there, with some other dexes I've seen, or with other perps exchanges, I've seen like horrible price execution where you're plus down 10% based on your trade, right? Like
Yeah.
based on when the
Basically,
trade actually
yeah.
executes.
Yep. There is no slippage on FlashTrade because it's all Oracle based. We basically use Pith as our Oracle provider, which basically aggregates prices from multiple underlying spot exchanges and gives us a mean price. And we
Okay.
use that mean price for you to open the position. So we give you the price at which you open your position fully. There is no spread, unlike what you see on order book exchanges, where if there is no one to fill your position, you would get slipped up to that position until it gets fully executed.
Yeah, yeah, and
So that is the magic that you're talking about.
yeah. And I mean, from a user perspective, it's amazing, right? Like
Yep.
before I found
It's
out
like
about
one click boom, you're in.
one
One
click
click boom,
boom.
you're out.
Yeah, one click boom, you're in, and you're in at a fantastic price,
Yep.
quickly, and it's just done, right? Like it almost feels like
Yep.
a centralized exchange in the way that ends up working out. Where I don't want to like throw shade at anybody, but when I've used Drift a lot before, and a lot of their execution is order book based, right? So they were
Yep.
the first one to offer like bonk perps. And
Hmm.
when they first came out, I was like, "Oh, this is so cool! I love bonk. It's going up. I'm gonna buy in." But like, I did like a market buy, and immediately was down, 50% or something like that on my position. Where I was like, "I'm never gonna do this again. This is not a good experience." Um, and I've never felt that way with any of your trades. So I feel like it's a completely different execution environment. It's very, very
Yes.
good,
Yes.
right?
The underlying engines are very different. Where Drift basically is an order book exchange and Flash is a pull to peer exchange that basically offers you trades on the Oracle price itself. And we also offer the highest leverage on these perps as well. So if you're talking about Bonk, at Bonk we offer up to it's up to 10x leverage. On the other assets, although like such as Radium, Jito, and Jupiter, we are one of the exchanges that offer up to 50x leverage. You cannot find that amount of leverage on most exchanges actually.
Yeah, yeah. I typically urge my listeners to not touch too much leverage, but in the
Yeah.
event that you do, there is 50. There is a very high amount of leverage that you guys offer.
Yeah, that's like it's more about I'm not saying like you can use, but it's like we are able to offer that because of the underlying technology that we have, and
Yeah,
we take pride in that okay, we are able to offer this amount of leverage without risk is a big deal actually on these assets.
yeah, yeah. No, it's huge. I mean, and the execution is really good. So I'm a fan. I think it's worth checking out. For that reasons. If you are going to leverage trade, like your margins are already pretty low to start, right? And if you were losing a couple percentage points, when you get in or out of a trade, it's just going to eat away at anything that you
Yep.
were going to make, right?
Yep. Talking about margins, I just want to touch base on this point. Like, perps were basically invented for people to hedge their spot positions. So the reason you use leverage is to, offshoot the hedging from your spot position. Imagine you have 100,000 worth of Bitcoin and you don't know what direction it's gonna go, or you basically predict that it's gonna go down, but you don't want to sell your spot. You
Mm-hmm.
take your USDC and you use $5,000 worth of USD. You go 20x short, so that in the case the price goes down, you are actually hedged. But if it goes up, you don't worry because you lose that capital, but you at least have your spot positions that gives you that appreciation in the asset. So perps were basically invented for people to hedge their if you go back in history, it was basically for rice farmers to hedge their yield from the crops.
No way. Oh, is it really?
So
Oh, that's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
fantastic.
Basically, when they didn't know which season, like basically how much yield they're gonna get. So basically, when they put up the crop, they don't know at what price they're gonna sell that crop for, because it
Uh-huh.
depends on the demand of the market. So what they used, they got this future contracts of selling them before the crop grew
Yeah.
actually. So that is how this thing actually evolved, and now we are trading meme coins with
Which
this.
Yeah, yeah. Which I mean makes sense, especially say you're sitting on Solana and you bought in at $8, right? It's
Yep.
sitting at 220, 230 right now.
Yep.
The market dipped right now. Could it dip more? Yeah, but like say you wanted to hold on to that dollar amount that you had, the proper way to hedge it would be using a perps like that, right?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And
And it's
this
basically, if you understand that, okay, it's going to go down, you can just take off some position, and, leverage is how you will, equate that your spot position with, and then, bet in that direction that you believe it's going to go there.
Yeah, and I was talking to somebody else, and they said that perps isn't actually, as popular in traditional finance as it is in crypto. Like it's unique to like
This
its
is, this is,
popularity is unique to crypto. Is that right?
basically the perpetuals were built for the crypto assets.
Oh, they were.
So it was invented by the founder of BitMEX, Arthur Hayes, and the team.
Yeah, yeah,
So basically, before that, futures had expiry. So at expiration, the contracts used to match and the market used to close.
yeah,
And this basically created fragmentation in market, because for each futures market, you need to have, liquidity. So basically, imagine you have a futures contract that is expiring today, then you need new market for the next week or the next 15 days. But perpetuals is just one market and all liquidity is at one place. So basically, the perps were invented. It's an invention of the crypto markets, and it is the most popular product in crypto markets. And hopefully, this would evolve and move on to the traditional markets. And I personally believe that we would be expanding that by offering stocks and all the assets through Flash, the perpetuals for Tesla or Amazon, and we are actually working in that direction. And
Are you?
you,
Oh, awesome.
we don't need the traditional folks to bring on the perpetuals. We will bring the perpetuals to them.
Yeah, I mean it would make sense, right? You guys already have all the infrastructure and everything built out
Yes.
for that, where
Yep.
you're not necessarily trading with the underlying asset as much as the Oracle, right? Or the Oracle pricing.
Yes, like basically these are asset backed. The reason that they don't go, like since when you open a position, you basically lock that much amount of SOL from the pool. You borrow that much amount of SOL. So
Yeah.
the most interesting thing is, like, even if SOL 100x is from here in this hour, the pools won't go bankrupt because we always have that much amount of SOL in our pools to back those positions.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, we have the collateral in the pools is what I'm saying.
Sounds
Always.
good. Sounds good. And with that, wow. So you guys already offer, I think gold and silver in your
Yes.
platform right now as well,
Yes.
right? Like that's
We
that's
have
live.
Yes, we have metals and forex markets live. We also have British pound, euro, and Australian dollar. We basically went live with it, but we were waiting for more assets from the real world to come on chain, although it has taken its time, but we recently got to know one of our closer friends on Step Finance have launched something which would basically allow people to have the tokenized version of stocks and all that, and they have the licenses for that. And we probably would go live with those tokens when they are live on chain, and we can just list them on Flash.
Wow, that's awesome. I feel like with a lot of like with Trump coming out, he's like super pro crypto. At least in the U.S., they're
It's
talking
gonna be
about
awesome. Yeah,
they're talking about like lowering all these regulations. And I've seen the call for tokenizing stocks. I think
the CEO of
the
BlackRock actually.
BlackRock. Yeah. Just the
Yeah,
other day, I watched that video. Yeah,
yeah.
he actually called for the tokenization of stocks, right? And
Yep.
bonds.
And that's what we are actually building for as well as an exchange. We want lot of assets on the chain, and the chain needs to be superior as well. And we have seen that things are scaling in those directions, and we need to be in place to get the opportunity out of it. So yeah, to take the
Yeah.
best out of the opportunity. Yeah.
Man, what a position to be in right now, right? Where it's like the technology's there and people are calling for it, right? It's because that was one of the like big regulatory like no-nos. Like you don't list stocks on crypto at all, right? Like
Yeah.
that was a big like at least in the US and I
Yeah,
probably everywhere, right?
I think what the US government has learned from the tokenization of dollar is this is actually great. And because of this, dollar is being used more around the world
Oh
by
yeah.
a lot more people who actually have different national currencies. They all are now depending on dollar as well, which is actually good for the states. And
Yeah.
now even on the stocks, if a lot of people start holding that stock, the price won't go down that much, and you have more distribution. So actually, it's a net benefit for the people who come on chain more and distribute more assets amongst more holders.
Yeah. One, it gives people access to the U.S. stock market that wouldn't traditionally
Yep,
have it, right? And
yep.
eventually would probably give people in the U.S. access to different markets that
Different
aren't
markets, yeah.
necessarily easy
And
to
it's
get
it's
into,
more
right?
about, yeah, it's more about creating more free markets so that people who are building the correct things, the great things, can get the most money from the market to build more better stuff.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
free markets, yeah.
and imagine like the ability to just directly trade from one stock to the other, right? Like if you go on to like a traditional stock trading app, you have to sell it cash and then buy the other app where, crypto's kind of solved that problem already where it's like,
Yep.
why don't we just trade, Apple for Tesla 1 to 1 or whatever the, exchange
Yeah,
rate
yeah,
is. We can find that
yeah.
out and trade it, right?
Yeah, the tech is there. We're just waiting for the assets to come on chain in bulk.
Oh, that's so cool. What would you guess as far as time until that comes out?
It's actually Q1, slated for Q1.
Oh, really?
Probably, yeah. We would be having 10 most biggest stocks by market cap live on Solana, and we actually connected last month about it, and yeah, they do have. You basically need to get licenses for issuing the stocks on chain, so that
Uh-huh.
you become a custodian and you say that okay, I own these assets and I'm releasing these on the blockchain. This
Uh-huh.
is the technical background gibberish stuff.
Yeah.
So that needs to be solved, and that is solved, and it's just waiting for those assets to come live now.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow, that's huge. So that's like, I mean, that's opening up a pretty big market to
Yep.
you guys right there, right? Like oh, that's massive. That's massive. It's like, where does it go from there? I mean, you launch stocks. I mean, you launched the top 10 majors. Is it going to be like, do you see it, you guys listing more like meme coins in the future or more just like traditional stocks, right? Like, I don't even know.
As an exchange, we would just list whatever the people want and whatever they want to trade. And the most interesting thing is, as I said, it's more of a free market, and
Yeah.
people would have a chance to bet on things that they believe on. So imagine someone thinks Tesla is cool, they can trade Tesla. Someone who thinks Jupiter token to be cool, they can trade Jupiter. So it's
Yeah.
more about a free market and free exchange, which does not have any binding and restriction from which country you're coming, what your ethnicity is, and XYZ. It's more about if you believe in something, you can come and trade anything.
Wow. Yeah, that is so cool. I love that concept. I feel like that's such like it's like the core of what crypto should be, right?
Yep,
It's really cool that it just opened up all markets to everybody. A place where everybody can both trade and if they want to, put their money in the pool. They can be an LP in any of these pools that they want to as well. So that's
that's
really
true.
cool.
Yep.
Cool. Let's see. So, okay, one question that I had. So, you guys have your FLP token, right? So, is
Yes.
that considered? I guess there's different FLP tokens
Pools.
per pool, right? So it's just
Yeah.
that represents what the underlying tokens are for each pool. Is that right?
It basically represents your share in each of the pools. So the program, when you interact with it, it basically knows, okay, this is the pool that you own the shares in, and you basically exchange for your collateral when you want to come out, and when you get in, it gives you that share according to the value of the shares.
Sounds good. So it's essentially like a flat coin, right? So FLP would essentially be a flat coin backed by crypto assets.
Kind of.
In a way,
But
a
in a way,
roundabout way.
but it's not an index because it's people basically are trading against that index as well on the
Yeah.
trading side, and they are giving all the fees and all the P&Ls, and it could be a positive and negative P&L. So it's essentially not a flat coin. It's more about a what I call it is a normalized crypto index,
Okay.
which has the least volatility actually. So right now, if we see, I don't know, I didn't check, like in the last 24 hours,
Oh
Bitcoin is
yeah.
down by about 5% or something like that. Okay, it was about down by 6%.
Yeah.
On the other hand, FLP was down about 1.5%. So it does not have that kind of volatility, although the general direction of the markets, you can follow it by by investing in that FLP1 index, basically underlying tokens.
Sounds good. So there was one time a while back where like a big trader or a big guy was like comparing FLP versus JLP, and he was
Yeah.
like FLP is not as profitable because all the traders are way better on FlashTrade. So there isn't like as they don't like make as much, they don't like take as much money against the traders. I don't know if that was true or not. Would that be a reason why you wouldn't get as much yield on FLP? I had no idea what he was talking about. I wanted to bring it up just to see what your thought
All
was.
right. It was it wasn't that. It was back in July last year. There was some kind of issue with an oracle which kind of allowed the trader to be more profitable for certain days.
Okay.
But again, once that was fixed, for the past 4 weeks or so, there is a trader. Let me just. There's a trader who is basically sharing the returns that the FLP is creating. So it has actually consistently beaten GLP in terms of
Oh, really?
return returns. Yeah, yeah, for the past 4 weeks or so. But yeah, the market is open. There are a lot more options, and the most interesting thing is as DeFi grows, you get more options where you can lend your money and create them, get the best dollar for your buck. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds good. That sounds good. How long has FlashTrade been up and running? I feel like it's been a few
I
years now, right? Or
I think it's just been an year and 12 days right now. So
oh, really?
yeah, we went live on Jan 16, 2024. So
Wow.
it's an year and yeah, 12 days. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I guess time frames don't add up in crypto years, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's actually a year goes in a week. So yeah.
Man, and what an explosive year it's been I
Oh,
mean, for
for
all of
sure, for
Solana, but
sure.
for you guys, I can't imagine the
Yep.
growth going from zero. I don't even know the total amount that you guys have
Yeah,
blocked right now, but
yeah, the most interesting thing is like just in a year ago there was nothing called FlashTrade, and we just built it by ourselves. So we are basically a fully bootstrapped team. We didn't raise any money from any investors as such. So we just bet our own money to create this, and now we are fully revenue generating protocol who is surviving off the revenue that is being generated
oh, that's
and
awesome. I
growing to the
love it.
next stage from that. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I'll throw the conspiracy theory out there. I feel like people don't talk about FlashTrade as much because you did that, and they're not like investors talking about their bags, right? But I feel like this is way more like awesome that you guys just
Yeah, yeah.
bootstrapped it and launched it
Yep,
all,
yep.
and it seems like you're just crushing it. So congrats
The,
on
the, the
that. I
thing
feel like
is
it's
was like, yeah, yeah, back in the day when we were building, it was the dark days of Solana. It was 2023
yeah,
when 2022 end was when FTX saga happened, and the
yeah,
year of 2023 there was nothing happening on Solana. The
yeah.
cumulative volume on Solana that time was about $8 to $10 million per day
Like total traded on Solana.
total traded on Solana, and the TVL was measly around less than 80 million or such.
Oh man.
So that time we had to, just bet on ourselves and build this ahead, and that's what we did, and that's what we are seeing right now. So yeah.
Do you know what those numbers are today? Because like every metric on Solana has like blown out like in the
Yep,
last
yep,
couple
yep,
of
yep.
weeks. Like I don't
But
even know.
we are waiting for, Solana to flip Ethereum in terms of the DeFi TVL as well. So right now we are the second biggest chain by the number of USD logged, and even the market cap is not it's a bit behind as well. So we are looking forward to flip that and become the number one chain by TVL and by market cap as well, hopefully.
Yeah, which I mean, if it keeps going in the same direction that it's going right now, it probably won't be long. I mean,
Yeah, 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 for sure, for sure, for sure. I think just today Circle did got 250 million USDC
did
minted
they
on
really?
Solana. So yeah, that was
Crazy.
just this day. Yeah.
I mean that. Yeah. Oh man. Do you know like how much gets traded on your platform in a day, or what numbers do you
We
track there?
basically, yeah, yeah, we average about 30 to 40 million dollars in volume per day,
Do you really?
and we have done so far more than $30 billion in volume. Is it 13 or 14? I need to check that once. I kind of
Crazy.
yeah, it's let me just check. Do we have cumulative here? Yeah, yeah, it's more than 13 billion. Yeah, yeah.
Crazy. That is awesome. That is awesome. What's man? Yeah, that's a good year for you guys, huh?
Yep, yep,
Man,
yep.
yeah, that
But
is
still,
awesome.
there is room to grow as well. So
Oh yeah.
there is always competition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, and I mean, more and more, it's like Solana is the chain that people are coming to when they actually want to use the chain, right? So
Yep.
they're going to make trades. Like when I think about it, it's like even if I wanted to like trade Bitcoin or trade ETH, like my mind doesn't even go to like using those chains at all anymore. Like it would just be like, why would I want to use the Bitcoin like as a blockchain right now when I could just do the same thing on Solana, right? Like like UI wise, everything like it's so much easier to custody. Like
Yeah,
I feel like everything's kind of easier on Solana, so it makes
that's
sense
true.
as
That's
like
true.
the one chain that people would want to use, and then your platforms like yours are giving them the option to trade, well, eventually any asset, right?
That's true.
That's cool. What do you guys think? Are you guys sticking Solana only, or are gonna open up to any other chains at all?
Um, I personally would say we believe in tech. It's not about just a brand. So
Yeah,
whatever gives us the best tech, which would allow us to serve our users in the best way,
yeah,
we would be there, is what I would say. Yeah.
yeah,
It's more in the direction of serving your users the best. And to
yeah,
be honest, I really don't want users to know which blockchain it's being run on. I
yeah,
just
yeah.
want them to know, okay, my thing is built on the best thing and it's a decentralized exchange. That is what all I want them to know. I don't want them to worry about what chain it's running on.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at the end
As
of the
long as
day,
your thing is being done, that's it.
yeah, no, 100%. I mean, the more you can kind of like abstract that away,
Yep.
the next wave of people that come on chain don't necessarily need to know that they're on chain, and they don't want to know that they're on chain, right? Like we're
Yep.
used to it
Yep.
because that's what we've done for a long time, but
That's true.
I definitely don't think that that's necessary for a lot of people to research every trade on SoulScan or whatever.
Exactly, exactly. They just want their trade to be get done and they're out.
Yeah, yeah, and With that in mind, are you guys doing anything on like the UI front to make it easier to cater to those newer people that are coming to it, or what's
Yes,
yeah.
yes, we are working with Phantom to have just create your wallet using an email, and then have the onboarding experience with your credit card, and that's it. You don't even want to know which blockchain or what address is yours. You just
Yeah.
create it with your email and you log in and you just trade, and that's it. You're out. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's almost more like a traditional like finance
Yes.
app, right? That you
Yes.
log
Yes.
into. It's
And
not
the
necessarily.
but the most interesting thing is you still the custody is with you. It's not with the exchange,
Yeah.
unlike where you see on Binance on many other exchanges as well. When you said Drift, in Drift you need to deposit when you trade, but on
Yeah.
Flash you don't need to deposit. You just click, and when you close the trade, it just comes to your wallet.
Yeah.
So we advocate more on the direction of not custodying your assets, and just opening and closing and just getting out as fast as possible. So yeah.
Yeah. Which what I think is of like a way better way of doing it, right? Like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
it just seems to make sense, and I mean it's a couple clicks and you're doing what you want to do, and it's really easy. So I love that idea.
Yep.
Cool. I don't know if you can answer this. What are some of the biggest trades that you've seen on your platform? Because it can go pretty high, right?
Yeah, basically, if you're talking about trades in terms of PNL, I've seen a lot more people win and a lot more people lose. But yeah, it's interesting way of looking at the world. After you are running an exchange, you basically see how decent people are in the world and what what sort of people do behind the scenes. Yeah, it's a crazy world, to be honest. That's what I'll say.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah, people have pulled off crazy numbers.
yeah. I can only imagine what you've seen, and it's crazy too. Is like people want meme coins with leverage, but it's like meme coins already trade like they are leveraged, right? Like these things are
Oh
going
yeah,
up
yeah,
and
yeah,
down. Like the Trump coin is, I mean, it was just like up and down. Like I said, it was like 10, $15 billion every second. So I can't
yep.
imagine trying to like trade that on like a 1 minute chart because I don't even know what you do.
That's true. That's true, man.
Oh, that sounds good. So let me see a couple things. I needed to talk about your NFT that you guys have, the beasts. I saw those. I didn't know that much about them. Are you guys still doing? It's like if there's some sort of like rewards are with the NFT. Is that right? Like if you do trades, it
Yep.
kind of levels them up. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. So basically, we did an NFT collection, which is it's actually the first NFT collection that evolves on chain. It's
Okay.
pretty similar to the concept of a Pokemon, which you basically raise and it grows up with your use on the exchange, and it unlocks more rewards for you. Basically, you get a much better trading discount, a much higher referral rebate when you refer using your ref link that is attached to the beast. And
Uh-huh.
you also get some rewards that is generated from the money that was raised by selling these NFTs. So basically, back in the day, we had to start the exchange and we needed some money because we had all our money into the exchange to get it up.
Uh-huh.
So we basically raised some money to bootstrap the protocol, and that money, whatever it generates, is given back to the beast holders. So in that direction, in the years period, whatever the people who bought the NFT, so they bought about $200 worth. Like each NFT was about $200, and that's how what people gave to the pool, and the pool actually made all that money and gave back to the holders as well. So
Oh no way!
we've
So if
actually
you so
given
if you
back.
bought so if you bought the NFT and initially helped you guys raise money,
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
now received that money and more back.
Yes, and you keep getting it right now as well. So it's every day. It's an everyday payout,
Hmm.
and that's how it has gone. And the beast are basically, they evolve. The image basically is on chain, and the whole program, the points program, is on chain. So as you interact with the exchange, either by providing liquidity or by trading or by referring people, you get some sort of points which help you to level up your beast. And as your beast levels up, you get much better rewards, as I said, in terms of fee discounts, referral rebates, and even when you provide liquidity, you get some additional revenue as well. So imagine when you are providing, liquidity to pool one, the fee share is about 70% to the LP and 30% to the protocol. But imagine if you are holding a level 6 beast, you get about 85% fee share and 15% goes back to the protocol. So the protocol takes a half cut if you are holding a level 6 beast on your money. deposit into the protocol.
Wow. Oh, that's cool. That's a really cool concept. So it's yeah. That's I okay. So I want NFTs to come back. I love NFTs, but I feel like the one like they're struggling. Sometimes they come back, sometimes they don't. But the ones that are like the most like intriguing for me now are the ones where it's like there's like cool utility that's like tied to the protocol, and that's exactly what you guys are doing. So that's awesome.
Yep,
I need to get me one of these.
yep,
Um,
for sure, man.
cool. Now are those going to be tied? Are you guys launching a token?
So basically, the idea, yeah, we are working to launch the token this quarter as well. So basically, the beasts would be getting a token because we see the beast holders as the investors in the protocol who basically helped us to bootstrap the protocol and be where we are right now. So yeah, the token is gonna come and the beast holders would get the token according to the level of their beast. So yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. It's such a cool way that you guys have set everything up. Like you bootstrapped it, you launched an NFT to help gain funds, and it's like you're still and you didn't. Did you guys end up like raising outside funding at all, or is it still
Nope, nope.
all? No, oh, that's
It's
so
all
cool.
bootstrap, yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, that is awesome. How many of you are there that started it?
We started with an initial team of 5 members.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but there's still like the core team is about 9 members, but we have an
Uh-huh.
extended team which is about 15 members who are not on a full pay. So yeah,
Ah, that's awesome. I love the idea. It's like one of my favorite stories is like the Tensor story. It's like
yeah,
two crack devs in Canada took on like $1 billion business, Magic Eden. Where it's
yep,
like I feel like you
yeah,
guys are
yeah,
kind of doing that same thing, where it's like you just kind of like put together a cool protocol,
yep, yep,
and
for
built
sure, man.
it in like throughout the bear market, which probably couldn't have been easy. It's like the good news is like in the
You didn't
bear.
know that, okay, this would happen. You didn't know that. To be honest, no one knew what would happen. It was just, okay, we love to build it. We're just building it.
Yeah. That's the best. And there was like little bits of like and if there was like NFT bull markets within that bear market too. So it's like NFTs were like uniquely, like pitted on Solana to run
Yeah, yeah. Like
and
we had to build it in the most unique way so that it's much more valuable for the user rather than for anyone else because at that time no one was ready to even buy things.
yeah.
So yeah, we had to create the best pitch out there as well. But we did sell out in less than 30 minutes or so. So yeah, that was good.
Oh, that's so awesome. That's so awesome. Yeah. I like that. That's a cool story. So what else are you guys up to these days? What else can we expect coming out?
So yeah, we are basically working to create to offer a full DeFi suite as an exchange. So we really wanted to build Flash as an exchange, and we started as a Perps thing, which basically allows you to leverage trade. But we'll soon offer spot trading as well, and we are also working to scale things. Right now, we are kind of hindered with the latency of Solana blockchain.
Okay.
So we have some much more interesting things coming out. Probably we'll have an announcement next week about how things gonna be scaling at Flash
Uh-huh.
by being all on Solana. So that is where we are actually going. So we really want to go become much more sexier. So we basically call ourselves it's Dex with a sex appeal, sex and centralized exchange. So we
Okay.
really want to make things much more sexier and make things much go faster. And that is what we are actually working on. And that's how you get more people to use Flash as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love it. It's like everything that Solana is, like increasing bandwidth,
Yep, yep.
reducing latency. It's like
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
you guys are doing, and it's
IBL.
like the
Yep.
focused on the user experience too. It's like I feel like you guys nail it on that. So
Yep,
I'd
yep.
love to hear it. I want to see what you guys come up with. That sounds exciting.
For sure, for sure, for sure. Yep.
Sounds good. Cool. Any other markets that you plan on listing sometime soon, other than stocks?
I think we are basically up to list anything that is new and hot, and that is what we've been looking into as well. So anything that is interesting and that people want to trade, and we really want to list it as fast as possible. Although we really wanted to list AI 16Z back in the day when it
Yeah.
launched. The only reason we could list it, it was a token extensions thing. It's a not normal SPL token. So we had it, and but the time we were ready, it kind of like blew off. It went down by a huge margin because the the aura around it kind of faded, and we were like, oh, we missed that slot. But yeah, we are basically up to list anything new that is, hot and what people want actually.
Well, I love what you guys are building. Like I said, I don't encourage everybody to use leverage because I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I mean, there's so
So
much like
that's
volatility
what
in
we say,
crypto
like
already.
the most interesting thing is like if you're not into leverage, you can always get into the earn page and get the yield from the people who are taking the other side of the leverage thing. So there is always the other side as well.
Yeah. It's crypto. There's a place for everybody in it. So yeah, if you're not into the leverage, definitely check out the pools. But if you are into
Yep,
leverage, I mean, it's worth checking out, right? It's a great protocol. It's getting bigger. I got to check out one of these beasts too.
for
Um,
sure, for sure.
and yeah, I mean, I think with stocks coming on the market too, like this could be like the one stop, like almost like the decentralized Robinhood kind of, right? Robinhood's
Yep.
kind of like slowly they're getting more and more into crypto, where it's like you guys are kind of getting more and more into the stock side. It's like the decentralized version of Robinhood is way cooler than the centralized version.
Yep.
Sounds good. Well, I mean, that's all that I had. I mean, anything else you want to tell to the listeners? Anything else we need to bring up at all?
No, I think it's like just be yourself and look how like use more decentralized products and you will understand how we are building this stuff and how better they are than the centralized exchanges where you are basically trusting the people to keep things up. But here we don't trust anything. We verify code and it's all out and people can check the documentation. And yeah, use more on-chain products is what I would say, and it's more rewardful as well these days. People are making more money, so yeah, there are more opportunities on-chain than there off-chain is what I would say. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. Well, I love what you guys are building. Love what you built out.
yeah,
I'm going to be rooting for you, and I'm looking
for
forward
sure,
to
man.
what you
Thank
guys
you.
are up to, and really appreciate
Sure,
your time here. And if you guys have some big announcements and you want to come announce it on the show, let me know. Reach out whenever. I'm a
for sure,
fan.
man. Sure, and yeah, grateful for that, man.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, and let's talk soon.
For sure.
All right, thank you guys so much for tuning in to Solana Weekly. Once again, this is Thomas Bahamas, and I have one final ask for you guys. If you could, please subscribe on whatever player you're listening to. You could leave a review. That would be amazing. If you want to shill me your bags, work for them. But yeah, really appreciate it. And as always, this is not financial advice, but I want you guys to accelerate, move forward, and let's get this bag. I'll catch you guys next week.